Hi Guy, welcome to what I hope is going to be the first in a long series of Saturday vlogs. Basically, I do a lot of retro content, as you know, and I've been mixing in a lot of Oculus Rift stuff lately. And I don't think I've been appearing on camera as much as I used to, weirdly. And I don't know why, it's just sort of died off. I mean, it's actually easier just to sit here and do this than it is to actually like the green screen, you know. It's all tucked away in a cupboard and you have to set it all up and do all the lights everywhere and stuff. And so yeah, I thought we'd start doing about this because, you know, there's usually enough for me going on in a week to have a chat about. And you see here, I'm not showing it because that's my list of what I'm going to chat about. So yeah, let's kick off. I mean, like I say, first one is the Oculus Rift because, I mean, I've had the thing now for God knows how many months, probably 3. Here it is, slapped by the PC. What do I think of it? I was a bit disappointed at launch that there wasn't what I thought at the time was enough games to actually keep me going on it, to keep me interested. It's become more of an accessory that I use from time to time, which I was hoping it wouldn't be. But I mean, one of the most useful things I've found out of it is because, you know, once you put it on, it's like that you're in that environment then, so you're anywhere. And one of the things I love doing is watching like movies, like 3D movies. It adds a whole. You have to download a movie and then add I think a certain type of file to it. I forget the gubbins behind it. But I mean, I watched Dread 3D on it recently with these add-on extra files I got for it, and it just looks absolutely incredible. I can't describe the 3D effect where it's supposed to be like coming out of the screen. It's because it's VR. It's so much. I can't explain it. It's just so much better than it ever could have been at the cinema. And in a way, you're not wearing them type of glasses, but you're wearing that. But because that's so comfortable, you don't notice what's actually going on the screen. Games wise, like I say, it's died off a bit. Like I've been doing the odd reviewer freebie thing. I've been only picking up the odd game here and there. They are doing a summer sale at the moment, but there's which, to be honest, a lot of the prices that I paid on there, I think should have been the original prices from when they first put it up. But you know, what can you do? Anyway, what can you do? Moving on. I think one thing I've been doing a lot of over the last few months is like these top 5 videos. I mean, I didn't, when I first started getting all these like lights and equipment, I just realised is in case anyone's always noticed, because I don't appear much on camera, I tend to wear contact lenses, by the way. I am literally blind. My hand now is just a complete blur. I'm blind as a bat without contact lenses. But I mean, I've been wearing them for like 20 years, bloody hell. Non-stop, day in, day out, and they were daily disposables. And I went to the optician back in about December, and she basically says, you haven't got any major problem, but the issue is you've got it's like bloods on the back of the eyes or something, which is moving closer towards. I'm going into that detail, but they basically said, you know, the risk, it's because I'm wearing these contact lenses, the eyeball can't breathe. So she says, well, you can start wearing glasses more and more and more. But you'll have to change your contact lens type. And I was gutted because I've got very funny eyeballs. The contact lenses I tend to wear, I've worn the same ones for years and years. Every other type I've tried, they're either too big or they won't rest right on my eyes. And I was so gutted to lose the contact lenses I wore all the time. They were so comfortable, and they've gone now. So then, you know, the lenses are gone for good. I'm quite sad to say. I've got one box of new ones left, which probably got about 20 pairs in, which I'll use for the odd big movie experience these days. Well, that's about it, which is a shame. But yeah, sorry, I've got a dodgy throat today. Yes, I've been doing a lot of work. I didn't realise how much work's involved in proper like video editing, and I don't think I've been actually doing loads and loads and loads. Because I'm not going to edit that cough out. But like when you go back over the top 5s, I mean, I had to get the green screen set up and I filmed me on that, and then I have to find all like background footage and stuff. That comes with its like copyright claims and problems. I had a couple. It's usually Nintendo based, or I mean, I think I did a really, I think it was GTA or something, but one of the companies completely like copyright claimed me. I knew it'd get claimed, so I didn't put money on, and they copyright claimed it for the music, no, sorry, for the footage in the background. Absolutely mental. So I've had to be very, very careful putting that sort of stuff up. But yeah, I didn't realise how much work's involved. It probably takes about 4 hours just to do one of them. And I was quite eager when I first got all this kit, and I thought, oh yeah, you know, I'll do one. I'll start doing one once a week, and I kept that up for about 3-4 months, if you know about that, and then it just sort of fell away because you know I got bored. But I will return to the odd one. I've got a couple more I've been working on. But the other side of it is, ties in with the Oculus really. They're just not very popular, and I don't understand. I don't understand why. You know, it's. I think it's my channel as a whole, which I've been having a problem. There's been a huge thing on YouTube where people have just lost loads and loads and loads of subscribers. It's been like a random percentage, and then YouTube haven't said anything. And I don't think there's any plan to restore the ones they've lost, and. I've got 1,457 subscribers right now, which to a lot of you it will sound like an amazing amount, but you got to remember I've been doing this since 2009, and I've not got them overnight always. I mean, I've got like 800 videos sat on my channel, so it's a hell of a lot that I've been working through. So yeah. Anyway, so for a month I've been watching the counter go up to like 1480, 81, 82, and I was up to 1497. I think it was the beginning of the week, and then I logged into YouTube on the morning after. It was literally that. I remember checking about 10 o'clock before my bed. I got up in the morning, I put up a video, and I was just doing the usual checks. I mean, numbers had dropped by 50, and I was just sat there going, no, so close. I've been counting it for so long, but again, I found out later it's because of something that YouTube's done. But what a bugger, you know, it's so close to a nice big round fat number. Yeah, but subscribers don't matter. But in I suppose in doing anything but like having a tag on your account, but just to be so close to something like that, I suppose it must be like, you know, if you're at like 50,000 or 100,000, I'm only on close to 1,500, but it's just nice to have, like, to know that people are watching your stuff, and even though it doesn't really contribute beyond getting the fact that people over time are watching your stuff, it's really nice to know that there is an audience out there and they do want to watch my jibber jabber. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please do. For God's sake, please do. I want to get up to 1,500 one day. So yeah. I say that the Oculus stuff has been absolutely crazy. I mean, when I put up a video these days, I mean, I've been back now since last September properly, I think, and I've been posting roughly one video a day. I get the few weeks where, you know, stuff's going on, so just but there'll always be something going up every week. I've been trying lately to get like one video a day, and I've been doing massively well. Since I came back, I've posted about 300 videos, so you know, it's a good example. But yeah, I mean, when I put up like a retro gaming video, I'll probably get like 50 to 100 views, depending on what it is. But when I started putting these Oculus Rift videos up, I don't know if it's because the YouTube users the kit's not really out there as some of them, so there's not that much content going up. So I mean, for what I've been doing is like for a couple of weeks. Sorry about this. Couple of weeks, like for a week running or 2 weeks running, I put up Oculus Rift videos, and some of them hit like 2,000, 3,000 views, and it'd be like within like a few hours. I've never seen anything like it, because I know I've only got a small channel, and you know, I don't expect big numbers or anything. I mean, whether or not then people come back is another thing entirely, but I've never seen such a sudden increase on content like that. It'll probably only last for a bit, and once the Rift and the Vive and everything become more available to everyone. Anyway, that's enough about the channels and the Rift and stuff, but so this video's turning into is chat time, bloody hell. Yeah, Well, what have I been doing lately? Game wise, I was really looking forward to the Steam sale. Very disappointed in it this year. Last year it was very involving. You check stuff every day. You get cards. You could sell them. There'd be games to play where you could earn cards and stuff, and then I would sell the cards and use it to buy a game before the end of the sale. But they would randomly change the prices throughout, and it would every single day. It would draw me back to keep checking. But they basically said this year that no, that's it. Everything. This is the sale item. These are how much they cost. That's it. We're not going to do any price drops or changing or anything in between. And I mean, I checked it for about 3 days running because it was such a big list at first, but I got bored of it. I've just completely given up. So what's the point? What's the point in the Steam sale if it's just going to be like a random, just a boring price reduction thing with nothing interesting going? You know what I mean? It's so I've not really been back to that. Very disappointed. But one game I've been playing to death has been Pillars of Eternity on the PC. It's an old classic CRPG, like Baldur's Gate, that sort of a thing. I'm a big fan of that type of game. I put about 400 or 500 hours into the entire Baldur's Gate series. I did it a few years ago. It was epic at the time, and so yeah, very sorry. When I saw the Kickstarter for Pillars of Eternity, I signed up, and that was 2012, maybe 13, something like that. And I put about 80-90 quid in it because I bought a box copy and everything and all whatever features. And then I got it, and then I just kept putting off playing it, and it's been, I had the keys and everything for Steam to do as a download, but I never touched it, and it just sat there and sat there and sat there. And I was bored about a month and a half ago, and I just sat down and started playing it. And it just blew me away, and I must have got about, over a weekend, I did about 28 hours. I don't even know, 28 hours over a weekend, and I couldn't understand where the time had gone. And then that drove me to think, oh God, I wonder if and there was DLC that's come out, and luckily, because I've left it so long, they've released two different DLCs. So I just thought, oh God, I'm going to have to buy, because you have to do the DLCs before you complete the game, and I was a big chunk into the game, and it's only about 50-60 hours long. So anyway, I bought these DLCs, and I've been slowly but surely, I'm right at the point before the ending starts. I had to check to see where I could move on to the DLC and then not ruin it effectively. And I've just been loving it to bits. The script is amazing. The characters are so well drawn out. The way everyone reacts to each other, the humour, the story, it's just really, really involving, and it's a proper decent, proper classic RPG. And I've never played it. It's been years since I've had a game as good as that. And another one off the back of this reel, that's why I got into the Kickstarter, was Tides of Numeria, which is a follow-on to Planescape Torment, which I've been trying to replay properly, but I can't get it to work on Windows 10. I was so disappointed in that, because it just looked, it's bloody brilliant, I know, and I got all the mods and everything, and it just kept falling over on Windows 10, and from what I can see, I've even got the GOG version, but there's no way around it. It's just how unreliable it is. But very, very frustrating. I'll just wait until there's a patch or something. Right, what's next? Probably other big news this week for me is I stopped watching Game of Thrones. A bit boring if you're not into that show, I suppose, but I stopped watching that in probably 2 years ago, and I was halfway through series 4. I don't know why. I really loved it, and I just stopped. And then I had a few days off work, and then just started watching, and then couldn't stop. And I'm just had this end of the season. My God, what a bloody good show that's been. I read the books years ago. I've forgotten half the storylines I've gone through, so it's still a bit of a surprise. But they're past the books now, and it was watching the Battle of the Bastards, that was episode 9. And I've never seen anything like that for a TV show. The whole thing, and there was minimal CGI and stuff, but the battle, it was so gory and so amazing to watch. I've never seen anything like it. So if you're umming and ahhing still about Game of Thrones, it's worth ploughing through just to get to that point where everything kicks off and breaks out. And what a show! What else has happened this week? I'm aware I'm probably talking on too long, and you're all getting bored and turning off at this point. But if you're outside the UK, you won't probably be interested in this bit. But basically, it's been a huge event for us in the last 2 weeks, really. Basically, the UK voted out of the European Union. Now, I ummed and ahed about this. I mean, I voted, obviously, and I voted for Remain, but before you get excited, whatever side you're on, I really, really ummed and ahed about this. I mean, I didn't vote until, like, really close to the deadline. I'm postal vote. You know, I went over it and over it in my mind, but it was really difficult because, but be honest with you, Boris Johnson's an idiot. I'm watching his part of the campaign, and then all the I don't know what you call it, like the racist sort of stuff that was coming out for Raj. It was very, very shaky. It was very difficult to find out any sort of facts, and as I was like reading around and stuff, it's because there isn't any real. There's never been anything happen. You know, to this degree, nothing's happened. So anybody didn't really know, but none of that side really made much sense. And then I started watching the whole, the Cameron effort on that side, and basically the Project Fair stuff, and the whole thing with like World War III and like 5 minutes after Brexit. You know, just that ludicrousness of it. And again, I was proper lost, and I didn't know which way to go. And then I just started watching, and if you see my political videos from last year when Corbyn got elected, and as leader of the Labour Party, I went and started watching, and I watched a couple of speeches, and I will say this, you know, obviously I'm a Corbyn supporter now, but I actually found it quite engaging. There was no bullshit. He didn't go over the top. I mean, he went into loads of, every other speech I watched, he went into loads of details. I know they struggled to get press coverage of it, which was shocking. But I felt he came across really well, and a lot of this morning was, oh, he didn't do enough, he didn't. But if you actually watch his speeches and the stuff, he did explain it very well, and he even went into the whole TTIP stuff, which it's the whole transatlantic trading agreement, which is a big thing that's hidden at the back of Europe at the moment. I think basically corporations will be able to sue governments, and so I was, after watching that over a few days, I decided to go with Remain. But Leave won. You know, good on him. You know, if you felt you're better off out, you know, you felt you were better off out. It was a bloody close thing. But we're out now. It was I couldn't believe it on the day when everything, like all the markets crashing and everything. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And in the last 2 days, you know, because Labour, since Corbyn came in, Labour have been pushing, you know, let's ditch austerity, and it's got to go in the last couple of days, and they were pushing it. I think on Wednesday, John McDonnell, you know, Shannon Chancellor, was stood there and saying, no, we need to get rid of austerity, and all Conservatives were laughing and jeering and saying it's got to stay, sort of thing. And then Osborne comes out a day later and says we're going to drop austerity, we have to because of Brexit. And you're just like, and I heard it, and I was just like, what have the last 6 years been around? All them people being screwed over and driven to the hilt of the cuts and all the rest of it. And he's about to bump up taxes massively, and bloody Tories. I don't know what else to say. Absolutely shocking. That brings us probably finally, I think, the whole Corbyn situation. I'm a big supporter of him. And I understood how part of the party were unhappy with him and everything, and you know, you always hear grumblings and stuff. But then you start at the beginning of the week on Monday, and it was designed. They were saying on TV, people, like some of the bigger shadow MPs, which are quite, were saying, shadow MPs, shadow cabinet MPs. Were saying that, oh no, you know, it wasn't timed, it was just a coincidence that they were coming out every hour on the hour for whatever it was, 60, 70, 80 members of his shadow cabinet, so they all quit one after another in almost in perfect unison. And as you started reading the letters, they were all very similar, as if they'd been written by like a very small group of people. You know, it's very, very despicable, really. It was planned and it was timed. And then as the week, at the beginning of the week, I was really working, because I thought, how can basically what the PLP, the Political Labour Party, have done, they've effectively all downed tools and walked away and just said, that's it, we've no confidence in Jeremy Corbyn, which is fine, you know, you get that, you think he's bad enough, blah blah blah, but then they've not offered, they've been scrabbling all week, and there's no alternative. And you know, it's been described as a big huge coup, and then by like Thursday it was coming out in the news that Angela Eagle and stuff had actually set up a website and a Twitter account and everything 2 days before Hilary Benn was meant to resign. So for someone who was appearing on like the news on, I think it was Sunday and Monday, like crying on Radio 4, I've heard it, well, it wasn't impressive. For someone who wants to be a leader, sobbing and crying away like that, you know, it was obvious that they'd been plotting it, and now it's been come out that a big chunk of them have been plotting it all along, and it's all been, the initial push was led by Margaret Hodge, because she's going in 2020 because that's when she retires, so it was the perfect time to do it. But what they've effectively done, whether you think Corbyn stinks, whether you think he's fantastic, or whether you think he deserves the chance. Now, whatever side of the spectrum on, forget that, and just look at what they've actually done. They've downed tools, they've walked away, even though the membership have it's not even been 12 months, so this is why it's so ridiculous. They've keep setting all these goals as it's been going along, saying, oh, you've got to do well in this, you've got to do well in that, and every single time, this is the funny part, he's like been increasing vote share every single time, like the Oldham one, the mayoral elections, even at the council seat one. They're all tighten off, well, they lost 18 seats, whereas Ed Miliband managed to win like 800 or something ridiculous. But the thing is, the seats, they actually increased massively, the overall vote share amongst all the councils, and they had massive gains in areas which had always been Tory or Lib Dem. So it all sort of, they actually did quite well. I mean, 18 is not a bad thing. Is that the Tories have only got about, it's less than 300 councils, and then the rest are all split national with like Lib Dems and everything. So it wasn't a loss at all, far from it, but it was being painted as one immediately by the BBC at the time, and it was just shocking. And then all you've had is all these Labour MPs jumping at the chance of something to attack him. And so I've just been watching it and it's just shocking all, because what they've actually done, they're basically saying is, the members might vote a leader in, but we do not have to go with it. If we want him out, he's gone, that's the end of it. But then what you're basically saying is, the party as a whole, because the Labour Party is not just like 172 or whatever it is 200, whatever it is, 220 MPs total. It isn't just the MPs, it's the members, all them voting, all tied into it. And then, so a big group of students says, you know, we don't like this lady, get rid, we want somebody else. But now, of course, it's like practically rioting, because all these people are going crazy for it. Last week, Jeremy Corbyn managed to bring in 13,000 new members. Over the weekend, I was hearing reports that he jumped up to 20,000 new members, because all this stuff was kicking off. And they were all joining online. I'm a fully paid up member, by the way. I joined. Well, I was a £3 supporter, and then when Corbyn won, I joined as a full-time member. If you know that's done. I've been, whenever that was, September, October time. I've been in it since. I've lost my point now. But yeah, so basically, they're saying that if we don't like a leader, he's out. The rest of the party doesn't matter. But the problem is, you've got not just like one or two, but all of the trade unions, which are a big part of Labour, because that's what it was originally built on, you know, they're all saying we support Corbyn. Big chunk of councillors have been coming out and saying, I think about 250, 300 have says, you know, we all support Corbyn. And then the local like CLPs, which is like local Labour Party branches, masses and masses of them are coming out of like voting no confidence in their actual MPs, who are saying they've no confidence in, and it's such a mess. And the fallout has just been like amazing. I've just never seen anything like it. And now what they've been trying to do, like one thing they did do was, so there was the list was released saying 500 Labour councillors have voted against have said they don't support Jeremy Corbyn and they want him to go, yeah? But the thing is, it's come out yesterday and the day before that it was a con. They sent out an email, which I think was, one guy was saying the text was too small to read, and it had a link on it, which read like, is, you have to click this link to show whether, what your vote was going to be, I believe. And I've seen it, I might be getting it wrong, but they were basically, it was a con, and if you ticked it, you'd signed it. And loads and loads and loads of them have been coming out going absolutely mental on Twitter and social media and all the rest of it, saying, we never bloody signed this. I've been trying to ring them to say, take our names off. And then the other part of it is, the only people able to contact this is supposed to be like the party secretary, which is done by Corbyn's press team. It's got to be approved or something for the party secretary. So somebody has passed on the list of all these councillor details, and they shouldn't have done it. Basically, it's a big breach of data protection law. So that's all going on. And within like a day of that coming out, it was pulled. It was amazing. And some of the some of the media, like the Mirror is a good example. They've got they're doing all telling Corbyn to resign and everything. And I think on Monday they put an online poll on the article for it, saying should Corbyn go or should he stay? I think it was like go in one box, stay in another. And when I looked at it in the morning, it was about to stay. It was on one side, and to stay it was about 70%, and then to say there was it was a big chunk of their readership, like loads and loads of people had ticked the to stay box. And then when I checked it again at dinner time just to see what the numbers were, it was rated at 83% to stay. People wanted him to stay. And within 20 minutes of that, I checked it at 12:30, and by literally within 20 minutes I had a quick look again, because people were on the lunch, I thought it'd be bouncing about. The Mirror pulled the poll off the website. It just disappeared, and people were going nuts in the comments. Where's the poll gone, you buggers? And then all they've done for the rest of it, it's just, it's what a week. But I was really, at the start of the week, I couldn't believe what they'd done. I mean, I just could not believe it. But as the week, I was really worried, and I thought, that's it. That's the end of the whole left-wing sort of side of politics, and that social representation of, wanting better lives for people, compared to the Tories sort of, and that whole, I don't know what to call it, is it left-wing? I like politics, but I don't class myself as left-wing or anything like that. I suppose I'm more towards a socialist sort of view. But I just couldn't believe what they were doing, because at the end of the day, if you want a leader out like that, the rules of the party is push somebody else up as a leader. And what it's got by the end of the week, I'm quite buoyant now, because I was watching an interview with John McDonnell this morning. He was talking about everything that's been happening, and how like the press has been bouncing all up and down stuff because a small group of the MPs have been trying to put out all this misinformation. And he was laughing and joking. He says one day it was like I was going against Jeremy, and I'd be happy to stand up to be elected myself, and I'd be a good opposite candidate. And he says I've never even hinted at that in shape or form. He says I want to work with Jeremy. I want to be honest, fully out for support of him. And I think he was saying that the next day, that it was all John McDonnell was like keeping him in his office, not letting him talk to people because Jeremy was wanting to quit. And he was saying, no, it's absolute rubbish. He says it's Jeremy who's decided he wants to stay. He's not being cajoled into it or anything like that. But it's been very, very interesting, riveting stuff. I was struggling to sleep for a few. That's how crazy. I was staying up so late, like literally 1, 2 a.m, reading the news and seeing articles and stuff. But I've never lived through a time like this. The excitement and it's so much different. I mean, since Monday, 60,000 people have joined the Labour Party, and they were at 450,000 members about 2 weeks ago. So it's gone up massively since then. There's been nothing like that in my life. I'm 36 years old. There's never been anything to this degree. Blair never managed it. Blair was the big one, won all the elections, blah blah blah, but just shed members like crazy. But the party is just changing completely. It's completely different. And to be honest, it needs to be not just the Labour Party, but the way Brexit is it's not a disaster because we don't know what's going to happen. Because after the massive crash on the initial day, things started to creep back up, and I think like the value of the pound by the end of this week was roughly what it was before Brexit. I might be wrong there, but the fact is it dropped because all the banks and everything were panicking and pulling the stock, and there was all this talk of all businesses pulling out of pull out of Britain, all the banks and stuff, and disappearing. Mass panic, and then a couple of days went by and it's just sort of, it's settled. Nobody really knows what's going on, so very, very interesting times ahead. I'm not worried. I would, to that degree, I'd say I'm concerned. I mean, all the stuff, the racist stuff that's been kicking off has just been absolute crazy. And I was watching something very good was said in an interview. The problem is, because I think it was 52% to leave, and one of the problems is a lot of people have been saying, oh, that 52% is racist. And that's bollocks. Sorry, that is bollocks, absolute bollocks, because I was almost a leaver myself. And I'm not racist, you know. I don't agree with the whole xenophobia thing that's been like building up, and some of the stuff that's been going on. I could live fairly sort of Manchester's off like 25-30 miles away from me, but probably the closest big city. And I was watching something on Huffington Post, a couple of kids. I mean, they were like 16, 17, they can't even vote, and they were telling this like he was an American guy or something, and calling him in Africa being, it was really, really disgusting behaviour on this tribe, and everybody looked shocked, but nobody did anything except for this guy who stood up to him, and then they threw a drink at him, and stuff like that's been going on, and bricks being thrown through windows, and racist propaganda, and people being treated differently. I mean, I thought it was ridiculous. And one story I was reading about this woman she's been here like 25, 30 years. She's got kids and family and stuff here now. She's part of the country. She considers herself British and all the rest of it. And she started having people telling her she needs to go home. I mean, this is a home at the end of the day. She belongs here now, so you can't expel somebody like that. But it's just, and the disgusting thing is, like, I know kids are always kids. I work in a school. I know what they're like, but all these younger kids going to school, and then they're having other kids telling them, "Oh, you'll be going home soon." And that sort of, again, it's not racism because the kids won't understand it, but they're picking that up off the parents, and it's just that behaviour, and it really has come out of the woodwork, and it's been disgusting. But anyway, I know I'm jibber jabbering now, but that was my first and hopefully not the last Saturday vlog. I'll probably do one of these once a week, assuming I get enough topics to talk about. I think we did pretty well. I was looking at this one, yeah, fair chunk of them there. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel, guys. Oh, for God's sake, please subscribe. I need the subscribers. I'll be happy with 1,500. That's me done. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and please look forward to another video soon.